Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good evening and welcome to Forged from Iron. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit that bell icon for alerts and new content. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. We are here to discuss the aftermath of Matchday 32 of 38 in the Premier League. The mighty West Ham United crossed paths with the 19-time champions of England, the 6 times champions of Europe, the mighty Reds of Liverpool at London Stadium. And I think it's fair to say there was an element of controversy about it. And this young man here that is looking very, very dapper, I got a funny feeling might want to get his teeth into one of these, or maybe even 2 of these individuals, because I hold 2 of these individuals culpable. Oh, hang on.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
Shall we?
Oh, hello. You're getting chatted up.
Oh, I can't help it. I'm good looking, and when you dress like this, it's going to happen.
Oh, hello.
All right, let's do it. Let's.
How you doing, Fritz? Hope you're well, mate.
Evening, Fritz. I've got a few questions for people, for yourself and those 3 that are currently in the chat, and we'll, hopefully a few others will join us as we go. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off a minute. Let's talk about the game, how we played. I'd like to point out I have no idea how that guy got man of the match, but we'll come back to that. I think we started really well, Rob. We came out of the blocks again, like blistering, and it was great. I'm going to go with Gary.
Yeah.
Evening,
one day it will be Anne, but, it's probably Gary.
We came out of the blocks rapid, started really well, some really good football, some great interchange, Paqueta, Antonio, I thought we looked really good. And we got the goal I felt we deserved, Rob, at this point in time. I really did. I felt we deserved the opener that we got. I think it was completely justified. It was completely valid. It wasn't against the run of play. And it's a really, really well-worked goal. It's a really good goal. It's some great interchange, as I say, between Antonio and Paqueta. And weaker foot, Rob. This is weaker foot. It's a really, really good goal. He takes it really, really well. Alisson, absolutely no chance of getting anywhere near it.
His international team, mate.
I felt, though, once we scored the goal, we let Liverpool take control of the game for huge chunks of the game. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't all the time, but it was huge swaths of the game they took control over.
How much of that do you attribute to the fact that it was an unchanged 11 from the previous fixture? Do you think tiredness played a part at any point?
I do and I don't, because again, as I say, although it wasn't the entire game, there were points when we went, actually, you know what, we're gonna press higher up the pitch. We're gonna bully Liverpool a little bit. Exactly what I said in the preview of bullying, you know, the back line. Antonio did it really, really well. Bowen, really, really well. Really put a lot of pressure on the back line, but we just let them get their foot on the ball. We let them get settled. We let them knock it about. It can come down to fatigue. I get that. I also feel that it's we'll come to that. I also feel that there's still that
evening epic.
We're going to play like this. So I got quite frustrated at points. Gapco puts them on level terms, and I felt it was only a matter of time until they got a goal. You know, when Gapco scored, I thought that it was coming.
Should Fabianski have done better?
No, piss off.
I'm only asking the question.
No. I've heard that question asked several times. No,
I thought it moved a lot in the air. It looked to me like it moved quite a bit through the air.
It's in the corner of the goal.
Yeah.
Like, there aren't many saving that in the Premier League. I'm telling you that now. There really aren't. I don't hold him responsible. The second half starts, we play some good football. We do really well. We come out. We kind of put our foot on the gas again, if you will. And we played some really, really good football. Pressing high, some interchanging. Could have been a goal in there. Thought we'd done enough to. Literally right before Matip scored their second, I literally stood there with a Liverpool fan, and this was one of the three that I'd written off, Rob. You know, this one, Man City, Man United. I've kind of written them off. As long as we can pick up 4 points out of the other 4 games, I'm happy. Now, there was a big mistake in the build-up to their second goal. I turned around and said I felt we'd done enough to get a draw. I also felt that Liverpool had done enough to get a win. This was literally before they scored. And I actually thought it was going to be a draw. And there was a massive mistake in the build-up to their goal. And it was who was marking who. And it wasn't Antonio marking Matip. Or
Your
even
tip.
my tip. Yeah. Trying to get the fun in now, Rob. Because
I know.
Benrahma lets Matip go. He just lets him walk off of him. And it's a free header. And Joe was in the car on her way home. And you were there, Rob, right? The commentators on the radio turned around and said that the fans were booing Benrahma's the decision to take Benrahma off.
Did we?
I thought, thinking about it, the fans were booing the fact that he was bringing on Cornet and not Pablo Fornals.
I don't remember any booing at all, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what the commentators were saying. So that's the only thing I can think of it being, is the fact that they didn't boo the substitution of him coming off. They booed the person, the decision not to bring Pablo on. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now, we were good. Okay, we were good. I feel that we could have got a point out of it. Now we're going to talk about said the said incident.
The incident.
Right, there were a couple. Let's not dick around.
There
I thought
were.
the referee was very poor across the board last night.
I'm not even sure he was as good as that dude.
Yeah. Well, but it's this one, Rob. Okay. Questions for the class. The Premier League is a global brand, correct? It's a global brand sponsored by another global brand. Agreed?
100.
I.e. Sky Sports. Sky Sports are the sponsors globally of the Premier League. The amount of money that they put into it, yeah? They put more money into it than BT Sports. They put more money into it than Amazon Prime. They put the lion's share of money into the Premier League. There's no two ways about it. Sharky, the reason I'm dressed like this is there is a distinct possibility that once this video is seen by a few more people, I will be going to court for libel, slander, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just getting myself ready. And because of this, their brand needs to stay relevant, correct?
I would agree with that.
And the brand has 6 currently and will be 7 faces of their brand. Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, and very shortly Newcastle. Okay? And the reason Newcastle, I include them in this, is because of the amount of money that they've got and because of where the Premier League will now be reaching in Saudi Arabia. There's more money to be made by Sky Sports sponsoring the global brand of the Premier League.
Agreed.
Now, currently, the faces of said global brand are not the usual faces 1 to 7. 2 of them are, well, one of them is currently having a wander around 13th place. The team we played last night are not having a great season. And I feel that there is a need to make up for that. Okay. He can have the touchline ban. I'm going to court. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you what, if that's the case, the law's an ass. It really is.
Well, listen.
I think he's got every right to make a complaint.
He has every right. Now, I'm staying calm right now. The longer this goes on, the more angry I'm going to get. There's no two ways about it. Okay. The global brand needs their big names and their big faces at the top end of the table so they can continue to sell their brand, and the sponsors of said brand can continue to push their wares further and further afield. Because the big 7, the Sky Sports 6 plus 1, are going to be there. The faces are going to be there or thereabouts. Now, the embarrassing thing is for this is that everyone watching the game last night, everyone, okay, could see. Now, West Ham have got away with one this season against Chelsea. Exactly the same. Thomas Souček going to ground and making a pretty good save.
Evening, TC.
With his hand and pushing it away, right? So we've got away with one.
There was also the Bournemouth one, you could argue.
Yeah, we've got away with one. We've also been penalised for one because I I can't remember who it was that was going down. There was also one on TV against the Big Six. I'd like to point this out. I can't remember the game, but it was against the Big Six. And a player went down and put his hand behind him as he was falling backwards to break his fall. The ball went through his legs and hit his hand. Penalty was given. Penalty was given, right? Anywhere else on the pitch, Rob? He doesn't look offside. I'm currently watching it, Andy. You're right. Same as I actually thought. Well, the Man City yesterday, but again, it's in favour of. And that Calvert-Lewin goal offside there, Andy, is proof in point because it's against Newcastle and it's one of the brand favourites now. Anywhere else on the pitch, that's handball, Rob. Anywhere else on the pitch, the referee blows up, stops the game, gives a free kick.
Agreed.
At the other end of the pitch, if Soufal goes down, basically punches the ball into the ground with his arm and his fist, it bounces up, it hits his arm again. Penalty's being given. A penalty is being given. If that's at Anfield, Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge,
Of
White Hart
course.
Lane,
In front of the cop, that is given, mate.
Right. Now, the referee has to blow his whistle and give the penalty, regardless of whether, and again, Paul, it benefits the people that we're talking about. The referee should give the penalty. Now, if there is an error on his part, VAR can overrule his decision and say, go look at the monitor, we think you got it wrong. Right? He can go look at the monitor, see that he's got it wrong, and the penalty is then not given and the ball's given back to Liverpool. I would accept that. I'd be pissed off, but I would accept it. If they're going to say, referee's given a penalty, VAR have said, you've got it wrong, doobie, right? I'd be pissed off, but I'd accept it. The fact that the referee didn't even blow his whistle, the fact that VAR looked at it once, Rob, it was given a once around on the monitor by the guys at Stockley Park, right? That from Andy is there's something there. The next comment from Andy, I don't think any referee should be allowed to take charge of that many games by one team in a season. I don't think it should be allowed.
Charm for them. I mean, Jurgen Klopp must see when they assign the Premier League referees to a match, he must see Chris Kavanagh and just be like, "Oh, happy days."
He knows he's getting him, Rob.
And this is me being really cynical. I'm gonna be, if I may, I might just throw something out. I would argue that there is a very high support for Liverpool in Ireland. Would that be a fair comment to make?
All day long.
What's his surname?
Yeah. Oh, listen,
Anyway,
we know.
I'll just leave that there.
I'm the fact that the referee doesn't stop the game and then VAR either overrule him. If he blows his whistle, right, and gives a penalty, VAR will not overrule it because it is handball. Okay? If they do, I get it. Okay? I wouldn't be happy, but I'd accept it because this is what's happened, right? Paquetá is so convinced that is going to go to VAR and that VAR are going to suggest in Kavanagh's zero, we want you to come and have a look. He puts the ball deliberately out of play. Literally rolls his studs over the ball, rolls it over the line. And the referee gives the throw on and we play on. Because he was already told, no, there's nothing to worry about there. Don't worry about it.
How? That's my problem.
I can tell you how, Rob.
With
I can tell you
but
how.
I've got less of a problem with Chris Kavanagh missing it because I've refereed games, not Premier League, obviously.
Yeah,
but it's you've got one opportunity to see it. There could be people in the way. It's moving at pace and da 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 da
But
da.
it's not,
right?
Rob, because he was standing. He was standing
No, I
10
know.
foot away with a clear view.
Yeah, but
Clear view.
even then, if he's not sure, do you know what I think? I think referees have got lazy. I think because you've got this safety net of VAR, it's a bit like if you're walking a tightrope and you know that there's no net below to catch you if you fall, then you've got to get it right and you bring your A game. If you know that there's a safety net under you, well, you know that you can sort of maybe not sort of, do you know what I mean? And it's the same. I think that the VAR is the referee's safety net, and they're just basically. I'm not sure. So I'm not going to give that, and I'll hope that if I fucked up, VAR will chatter in my ear roll and say you've missed this, and right? Because you've said it many times on the channel, Duke, if I may, that you believe that there is some skullduggery. Let's put it like that. Some skullduggery with the PGMOL, the Premier League, and all the rest of it, right? Yeah, that's fine, Duke. Not a problem. So Duke has obviously made those comments about that situation, and I've always been of the opinion that no. I don't want to believe that. I don't believe that. We've got the most honest officials in world football. Blah 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 blah. With the advent of VAR and seeing some of the decisions that I am seeing, the evidence is mounting up, and even I am finding it very hard to defend the referees these days. And it's all very well Howard Webb at the PGMOL or Mike Riley, the guy that was his predecessor, going to clubs latterly when there are decisions that are blatantly wrong and offering his apologies. Well, let's go back a couple of weeks, shall we? Brighton go to a top 6 club. Isn't that interesting? Tottenham Hotspur. How many decisions? The one that where the ball hits, I'll just beg belief. The goal was ruled out, yet the letter of the law. I've looked at the laws of the game. It's out there. You can download it. Anything that is above the level of the sleeve is not a handball. That is perfectly okay. If it's below the level of the sleeve, okay, that's a handball. Blah blah blah. This hit, was it Matoma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It hit Matoma just below the shoulder, but above the level of the sleeve. He puts the ball in the back of the net, and the goal was ruled out for handball. Now, on the back of this, Howard Webb offers his profound condolences and apologies.
It should have been given.
No, exactly. And it may well be, and I said this to you on a voice note, it may well be that come the end of the season, if Brighton miss out on European football by 1 point, those apologies mean nothing. Absolutely
Jack
nothing.
Shit, Rob. Jack shit.
And the same with us. Look, mathematically, we still can get relegated. I think realistically, it would be a monumental collapse on our part, and other teams would really have to pull their socks up. So for both of these things to happen simultaneously in what remains of the season, I think is very, very unlikely to happen. But it's mathematically possible. Now, say we get relegated by 1 point. That point. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Mr. Howard Webb to David Sullivan to David Moyes to Daniel Kaczynski. Oh, I'm terribly sorry that that penalty wasn't given. That was absolutely fucking blatant and should have been a spot kick that allowed you the opportunity to equalise and get a point out of that game. I'm very sorry that you've been relegated to the Championship by that 1 point that you didn't get at Liverpool. But that apology, what is that? Is that going to recompense 150, 180 million pounds that we've lost? Is that going to recompense people, like the kit man or the tea lady or certain members of staff that are going to be waved off down the Kermit? That ain't going to fucking cut it, Mr. Webb. Joke.
I'm gonna say it. Corrupt, Rob. From top to bottom. We all talk about FIFA and UEFA and how corrupt they are and the rest of it. The Premier League and Sky Sports and the PGMOL are corrupt to the core when it comes to ensuring the 6 or 7, the 6+1 as I'm now going to call them, maintain that status quo, right? Corruption, right? The fact that Kavanagh has refereed Liverpool so far 11 times this season, which has contributed to 10 wins.
Is that this season? That's even worse if that's
if it's this, I believe, something needs to be looked at, Rob, right? Something needs to be looked at. There needs to be an external investigation into. There you go. Hammerhead's just nailed it. I got there first. No. There needs to be an external investigation, right, into corruption at the highest levels of the Premier League, at the highest levels of the PGMOL, and at the highest levels of Sky Sports. Because I am telling you now, well, not Sky Sports, Sky in general, right? I am telling you now, I am convinced, and I'm not the only one, I can guarantee you this now, that money is changing hands somewhere down the line between Sky, the Premier League, and the PGMOL, in my opinion, that keep the status quo. Now, yes, we had Leicester break in and win it. Pretty sure the other 7, 6 at the time, were 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And if they could have found a way to stop Leicester from doing what Leicester were doing, they would have done so. There was no VAR then, Rob. Let's remember that. Yeah? If they could have found a way, they would have done so. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced of corruption. I am convinced that the 3 entities that I have mentioned are up to no good in ensuring that the 7 clubs, and whether or not the 7 clubs are innocent of any of this, I don't know. But I am telling you now, I believe corruption between those 3 entities is rife. It is so in your face that I believe that people that they think, they wouldn't be that obvious with it, because it is so clear, right? The 7 clubs, the 6 clubs, Arsenal, Man U, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, were they not the 7 clubs that were about to walk away from the Premier League?
Oh,
Just over a year ago?
and from Sky.
Right, hang on. But they were about to walk away from the Premier League.
Yep.
Tell me what punishment they got.
I think was it about. It was a paltry amount for a Premier League club. It's like 5 million or
pocket change
like
down the back of the sofa.
Yeah, it was like, you want this in cash or how do you want this?
Do you reckon that was paid?
Probably not.
Right. Same 7 clubs that wanted more power, right? And I can tell you this is what it was. I am convinced this is what it was. They wanted more power, more hold, more guarantees that things will be done to help them. Otherwise, we're going. Okay, don't go. We need you. Please stay. We'll give you this. And they stayed. I'm sorry. But right now, listen, I have said this for over a year with you, Rob, on this channel. That you call it an unconscious bias towards the Big Six.
I did, but I'm gradually...
and I called it a conscious bias towards the Big Six. I'm now going one step beyond that, and I'm saying it is corruption at the highest order, at the highest levels of the PGMOL, Sky, and the Premier League to keep those 7 happy in their top 7 places. Fuck the little guys. Fuck the rest of the Premier League. It don't matter. We need to keep those 7 happy. 6 plus 1. As I say, it will be the plus 1 soon because
6 big clubs plus Tottenham.
And what bugs me is it is so clear, Rob. It is so in your face evident that we're kind of going, no, it wouldn't be that easy, would it? And now people are opening their eyes. People are seeing it. And I do believe if you speak to Brighton fans about that game against Spurs, 4 incidences, 2 offside, 2 handball goals that really weren't handball. The penalty where he's grabbed his shirt and he might as well just taken it off his back. The one where Matoma brings the ball down and he's clearly kicked on his foot as he goes to ground. Not given. The fact that VAR looked at all 4 decisions and agreed that disallowed the goals, even though they're quite clear and obvious, Rob. We can... What VAR need to understand, or as Moyes called it in his press conference, VAR, is we can see what they're watching. We can see the lines that they're drawing. We can see the slow-mos that they're doing on the telly. We can see it. So please come to me now and tell me, with interviews with the guys at Stockley Park at the end of the game, tell me why you disallowed that goal. Tell me why you didn't think that was a penalty. And if they can come out and they give a valid explanation and they can take criticism coming their way, then so be it. A manager has to when a team gets spanked.
Absolutely.
You know, you saw Eric Ten Hag come out after the Liverpool pasting of United. And he had to face the press and the cameras after his team had just been decimated live on TV. He had to come out and face it and say, well, this is what I got wrong. Referees, if you have a bad game, if you have a good game, I want to know why you didn't give certain instances. VAR, I want to know why you felt that there... I'm not necessarily talking offsides, but I also don't think that Nunn's chuff tightness should be offside. I think there needs to be clear daylight between your defender and your attacker for there to be. It
used to be, didn't it? It used to be the rule.
If there is the slightest piece of... If you're having to draw lines for millimetres, it's not offside. Right? It needs to change. But all the time that they can use that to defend their big boys, then they will. Liverpool got away with it last night. Was Jared Bowen offside? To the letter of the law, yeah. But to the naked eye watching the game like it used to be, no.
I haven't seen it back, I'll be honest. When it happened, I didn't think it was.
Does the referee make a clear and obvious error? No, it's not. We're talking probably about 1.5 to 2 inches.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that VAR has to get involved if a goal is scored.
No, but I feel but it should be a case of if the referee has made a clear and obvious error, and if you are having to draw lines that are we're talking inches, then it's a different story.
1-0.
It's a different story, right? I don't care. It shouldn't be like that. Referees should come out. Linesmen should... VAR should come out and they should be held accountable for their decisions. Whether or not they get mic'd up and we can hear the conversations, I don't necessarily need that if they're going to give me the interview after the game and give their reasons.
No, I want to hear the
No,
conversation.
I get that. But if they're going to come out at the end of the game and give their reasons as to why something was disallowed, using the rule book and paraphrasing the rule book and rule 4.901, edited on the 21st of January 2022, says that any player using their arm to break their fall is deemed as a natural position and therefore not handball. They're not using it to. Then fine. You've come out and whether or not I agree with that, but you've come out and stated your reasons as to why that penalty last night was not given. Fine. You've stated your reasons. That's your belief. Whether I agree with you or not doesn't matter. But that's what you've come out and you've said. Fine. We move on. We go past it. You've taken to the air to give your reason why. Brilliant. Perfect. Right? But we're not. And this is where fans who are playing, and let's be honest, Rob, fans that are paying a good deal of money, right? As I stated the other day, for me to buy a ticket against Ghent cost me £35 for me. The same ticket in the same seat in the same part of the stadium for Liverpool was 90. 90 quid. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a hell of a lot of money in this day and age. I'm lucky enough. I chose not to, but I'm lucky enough to be able to afford that, to pay that to go. I didn't, but I could. There are people out there that put themselves under some significant financial pressure to go to, because they want to go to these games and support their club. They go without food over a certain amount of time. They use food banks, etc., right? And right now, what you're telling me is we've got officials in Premier League, Sky, and the PGMOL taking the piss out of us, cheating us out of a positional finish, cheating us out of a possible point that would have essentially made us safe last night. Maybe not with Bournemouth winning, but you get what I mean. So it's time for someone within those three organisations to stand up, come out and say, okay, we welcome an external review of our practices. We open our books for payments and incoming and all the rest of that bollocks to prove that we're up to no good. And if you can prove to me you're up to no good, then fine. But until that moment in time, I am going to think, and I am going to continue to shout from the rooftops that all three companies are corrupt. All three are involved in backhanded payments, and I'm not going to exclude clubs from this, Rob, to pay for certain favours, to pay for certain referees to referee their games, to make sure that they get favourable decisions made in certain games. Because I'm telling you now, based on last night, based on Tottenham versus Brighton, that there is corruption. There is payments being made. I'm convinced of it. And if anyone watches this and takes offence, takes affront, and feels that it's slanderous and libel, please, I welcome it. I welcome it. Because I will just cite last night's penalty claim for West Ham. I will cite the 4 decisions against Brighton. I will find others. And there isn't a jury in the land of my peers that they can find that wouldn't agree just based on those five bits of footage. Let alone what else we find since VAR started. Promise you now. Because I guarantee you, if we got a jury of 12, they're going to have to be 12 that don't like football. Because I guarantee you, we all feel the same. Every single one of us feel the same way. I personally feel the game's gone now that VAR is involved. Referees should be able to make their own decisions, and if they're human, and in the split second they have to make a decision, if they get it wrong, I'll accept that. I used to referee, much like you, Rob. I know how difficult the game can be when it's up tempo, it's quick, it's moving. You've got a split second to make a decision. You will get them wrong. But I'd rather a referee get it wrong than the corrupt nature of what we're seeing be what happens. It's that simple. It really is. I'm that angry that I very nearly did a video pissed last night. I managed to calm myself down and not do one, but I very nearly did a video pissed last night, ranting and raving in that moment, and that probably would have got me banned from YouTube. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You can't tell me just based on the 5 things that we've spoken about this season, based on the last couple of months. You can't tell me something's not going on. You can't. I won't believe you. You can sit there and tell me nothing's going on. I won't believe you.
It does look very suspicious. I mean, like I say, I've always been quite, like I say, I don't want to believe it, blah, blah, blah. And the more and more I see of it, mate, the more I just think something's not right.
Ryan Archer.
He's not right.
You know Ryan Archer?
I know Ryan Archer.
West Ham Fan TV, for those of you who are unaware. I'm not being funny if you're following us and not following them. Something's wrong.
Something's there.
They got 68,000 subscribers, I think. I watched his video from last night, this morning, and he turns around and he says to Nicky, it's like me coming into your house and robbing you and then saying, sorry, you still ain't got a fucking sofa to sit on, no, have you? No. And I pissed myself laughing because I thought, you know what, it's perfect, it's spot on. It's on the money. Nothing changes. You don't get back what you've lost. We don't get that point back.
No.
But I also said to you at the start when you said 2 of those would be responsible for the penalty. It was 3 because you've also got the assistant VAR there. So those 2 would have been looking at it after the whole Cavani thing. They took 2 minutes to decide. 2 minutes to decide that Jared Bowen was offside. They took 10 seconds to decide that wasn't a penalty. Sorry, that doesn't cut it for me, mate. It doesn't cut it for me. I'll tell you what, once I'm done here, I'm actually going to go and I'm going to trawl through games this season. And there's a lot of games to go through.
380 in the Premier League.
I'm going to find out what games involving the Big 6. +1. No, we'll stick with 6 for now.
Big 6 plus Tottenham.
Whether how many controversial incidences that have favoured them, be it penalty decisions given, goals disallowed against them, etc., etc.
Offside calls.
How many times they've benefited from controversial decisions? I guarantee you we're talking high double figures. Guarantee you across all the games that they've been involved in. What's that? So 6 of them, and they've played 33. Say average of 30 games. You're talking 180 games involving. Well, maybe not because they'll be playing against each other. Let's say 170 games. I guarantee you, it's high double figures. High double figures.
Wouldn't be surprised, mate.
Wouldn't surprise me if it's up in the 80s or 90s that there are controversial decisions involving the Big 6 that have benefited them. I will go back. I'll tell you what, I will go back and have a look and we can do something based on that. Because it does interest me. I guarantee you there's a hell of a lot more going on that's happened that we've probably forgotten about.
Well, whilst you've been sort of making your point,
ranting.
I've actually sent out a poll, and I don't know if everybody's clocked it. So I'll just shine a light on this on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Twitter or if you're watching on Facebook, you won't be aware of this. I've got a poll that I've just sort of like set out on the YouTube channel, and I'd be really interested to get as many votes on this one as possible. Now, I appreciate that this is in the wake of the game yesterday, so It's still quite raw. But the question is very simple. Should Premier League officials be mic'd up and heard live by people in the ground and at home? Well, we've got 11 votes so far, and I'm sure we'll get a few more. Hopefully, we will. You won't be surprised to hear that at this precise moment in time, it is 100% in favour of the refs being mic'd up. So I'm getting attacked by my dog's lead. So you'll have to forgive me because my donut of a son has just walked through the door and not taken the lead off of my dog, and my dog's gone mad. So
No, Cyber is the answer. You actually cheered a lot of people up on the concourse during half
what's
time
that?
with your raucous screaming and shouting of "Come on, you Irons" at the Emirates during the Under-18s Cup final. You put a few smiles on people's faces, and just talking about the
Did you
Under-18s.
record this?
No, I didn't. No, I was trying to queue up and get a beer. Cheaper than London Stadium, by the way.
Everywhere's cheaper than London Stadium. You go to bloody Iceland, it'd be cheaper. I'm
I
talking the country,
bumped
not the
into
supermarket.
two guys.
He played for Blackburn, didn't he?
No, not good guy. Two guys that drink in my pub. Just randomly amongst the 8,000 West Ham fans that were there. Two guys. I didn't know they were coming. They didn't know I was going. I literally walked around the corner out of the toilet and went to go to the bar. And there they were standing there. I was like, I know you two. You drink in my pub, don't you? And they were like, hey! And that was it. It was brilliant. So they're now subscribed to Forge for Wine.
Hey.
They're now coming into the pub for the semi-finals.
We're going to have to do a little review on that, aren't we? I mean, time's just been...
It's manic. I've got a pencil in. I don't know
I
if
can probably let people
chat.
know now.
Huh?
I can probably let people know.
Yeah, go on.
I was very
yeah.
by it the other day when I said about sort of oh shush, no one's supposed to know. Well, I can let the cat out of the bag. I got a promotion at work.
Congratulations, my man.
It's a complete gear change. I mean, I've been involved in the industry that I'm in for a long time. I'm an engineer by trade, but I'm now going into a management role. So this is going to be a complete gear change. It's going to be something that I'm going to be starting from scratch. I'm going to be learning as I go along, and I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to doubt myself and all the rest of it. But I'm looking forward to this. Looking forward to it.
Luck to you,
thank you very much, Sharky. I do appreciate that. That's really kind of you to say so. As I say, it's gonna be different to what I'm used to. But yeah, looking forward to it. Anyway, that's just a little bit of a view into my personal situation at the minute. And thank you, Anne/Gary. I'm sure it's Gary, but you know, one day we'll see Anne Kane pop up and we'll go, "Hello, Gary." No, it's Anne, and we'll go, "For fuck's sake." Thank you, Paul. Do appreciate that. Thank you. Well, hello. He's got some breaking news, but he hasn't put what the breaking news is. I dare say that will come next. Hello, Paul. Hope you're well.
Good evening, Squire.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, but if that David Moyes is right, and whether you're Moyes in, Moyes out, he said it absolutely spot on. You know, do you think that would have been given at Anfield? Of course it fucking would. Oh.
I think he was 72.
He was born in England, wasn't he? He was English born. He was sort of like, was it Hampstead, that sort of way, from memory?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. But it's yeah. Paul, just a quick question to you, sir. We kick off at 12:30 on Saturday.
Was he 79?
Was he 79? Bloody hell, I thought.
Mind you, when he first sort of became,
he was older. He was a governor of somewhere, wasn't he? I think he became governor or something of one of the states in America after the Jerry Springer show or something.
And Ian
yeah,
Wright
Paul,
is
are you
right.
coming down to the pub on Saturday for the for the game. You did, I know, you bastard. You were meant to come down and watch it with me. Are you with us on? Are you with us on
Saturday?
Saturday, Paul? I need to
Saturday
know.
lunchtime, isn't it?
Yeah,
12:30.
on 12:30, first game.
I'm actually, do you know what? I've got to be honest. I'm actually half tempted because Croydon's not a million miles away, South Norwood. I'm half tempted to just fucking go there and just see if I can sort of get a friendly person. And here's something, right? And maybe this will be sort of like a little bit of karma coming back, right? I bought, right? This will make you laugh, right? Now, I bought 4 tickets, right? Me, my daughter, my brother, and my brother asked a friend. He asked me, could I get a ticket for a friend? So I'm like, yeah, no problem, fine. This friend turned around, and I won't name names because that's not right. But what I will say is that this friend, when it was on, I think on the Monday, and it was like, oh, you know, we're gonna be at the Emirates, blah blah blah. He turns around and goes, was it tomorrow? Oh, I thought it was 7:30 on Thursday. So I've now, I mean, all right, look, it was only a fiver. It's not the end of the world. But the point is that I've paid for a ticket that now the person that said they wanted it now, because they couldn't work out what day of the week it was, I've now got a ticket that is just going begging. I actually took it with me to the Emirates Stadium. This no word of a lie, right? I'm just about to go in. I'm with my brother and I'm with my daughter. And there's these 3 young lads, teenage lads, just wandering around. And I looked because I heard them sort of like chattering away amongst themselves. They were sort of keeping themselves to themselves. But I wasn't sort of like being nosy, but I could hear what they were saying. And I turned around to the 3 of them and I went, "You boys are after a ticket?" And one of them turned round at the front. He was like, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "And so's me mates." I said, "Are you West Ham?" And this young lad turned around and said, "Well, I am. My mates are Arsenal." And I said, "Well, I've got 1 ticket in the West Ham end. If you want it, it's yours. I don't want any money for it. Either I don't really, the money's not really relevant to me. I don't want this to go to waste. I want this to go to a good home. If you want it, take it." And he looked at his mates. His mates looked at him, and it was like, "Go on then." So I just handed him the ticket, and he came in. And he watched the under 18s cup
That's
final
nice.
right next to us.
Did your daughter get to see?
Kate.
Yeah, did she get to see it?
No, she
No,
didn't in the end. No, it
too
was.
sad.
I turned around to her and I said, "Oh, Kate Longhurst is sort of 2 blocks along. Do you want to go and say hello?" And you know what sort of teenage girls can be
Yeah,
like. They're a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
sort of coy, a bit sort of shy, whatever. I think she
What?
wanted to.
Sorry, hold on.
Right. Okay. With people she doesn't know.
Right, okay. I was just saying she's an absolute cowbag to me. Kicks the
Well,
shit
she
out of me
knows
on a
you.
regular
She
basis.
knows you. Once she gets to know
Tell me
you,
she's coy. She's
yeah.
a
No,
terrorist.
when she doesn't know you, she is quite quiet and
I'll
she's
tell you
quite
what,
reserved.
on the
So
subject of teenagers, right? The reason I'm suited and booted is actually because I went to a funeral today. Joe's aunt passed away, and we went to the funeral. And we're driving back, so we've driven. We've followed the hearse to Elton Crematorium, and there's some elderly gentlemen and women on the way. They stop, they put their heads down as the hearse passes. Gentlemen take off the flat
take his
caps,
hat
those
off.
standing
Yeah.
at bus stops and stuff. And it's respectful. I mean, I do it. I've
Yep.
done it for years. I think when my grandfather passed away, I saw someone do it at the bus stop. So I do the same thing now. If I see a hearse, it's the same. Obviously, we've got funeral directors across the road from the pub, Rob, as you know, and
Mm.
I do that. When I see them go past, I bow my head and take a moment
Cheers,
as
TC.
they're out there. It was her aunt, Cyber, but thank you. So we're coming back from the funeral, and obviously it's just the two limo cars that we're in. We're in the latter one, and Joe's mum, dad, and aunt are all in the first car, and we're coming up past Bexley Grammar School,
Yep.
coming up the back of It's not quite Gravel Hill. It's the next one over, isn't
Bourne
it?
Road.
Yeah, Bourne Road. That's it. We're coming up, and just as you get, you got the school on one side, and you've got the big school field on the other side of the road. You know where I'm on
Yes.
about, that corner there. So we're just coming across the road, and there's what I
By
would.
Dartfordians.
No. Not Bourne Road. It's not. It's as you come up the hill towards Bexley Heath Shopping Centre,
Yeah.
and the Premier Inn and the
The Hilton.
no, the other side. So not the Marriott and not the
Hilton
Prince
Marriott. Yeah.
Albert. The
Yeah.
other side, the other hill. It's on the other side of that. So go over one more,
Mayplace Road.
possibly.
Right. Okay.
No, the other way. The other way. So as you come up the hill, you've
I'm
got
lost.
Bexley Heath Shopping Centre right in front of you.
Okay.
And you've got the library opposite that back end of the shopping centre, the
Oh,
Premier Inn,
you're
and is it the
yeah.
Beefeater
The Brewers
or
Fair.
Brewers Fair? So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We're on that road there, coming up the school on one side, and
Albion Road.
that's it, and the big playing field. And there was about 8 to 10 kids sitting on
Cheers,
bikes on the corner of the road. And I was very, very close to saying, cheers, my man, about the little scroats not being at school. And just as I went to mention it, there was in the lead car was obviously Joe's mum, her dad, and her other aunt. And in the back car was
You knew that?
myself. I did, yeah. In the back car was myself, Joe, Grace, and Joe's brother and sister. Joe's brother and sister-in-law. And 3 of the lads sitting on the bikes and put their head down and bowed
Oh
their
wow.
head to our car. Now, we haven't got the hearse with us. You can tell that they are funeral cars. Yes, of course you can, because that's... And they did. They put their hand on their head, and then they gave a little salute and then bowed their head.
Well, they're
And
clearly
I'm
been
getting
brought up
goosebumps
right.
talking about it now.
Yeah.
And I was like, 10 of them on the corner looking like absolute rat bags, all on their bikes, hanging around, should be at school, all that bullshit. And they
Teacher
did
on
this,
strike.
and I literally gave them a nod back as we drove past, and they nodded their head again at me as we drove up, and it was just really respectful, Rob. I wasn't expecting it. These kids were probably 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
They should have been at school, but I'm aware that there are strikes and stuff with some of the schools, but it was that one moment that they bowed their heads as the cars went past. And in that moment, it really got me, because I was like, that there is really respectful. I didn't expect it. And, I doubt they're watching. I doubt very much they're watching. But if they are, thank you. It meant a lot.
There you go. Right. I suppose we probably also should talk about, we normally do it, we'll try to, player ratings, old chap.
Yeah, go on. I'm down for it.
Let's dive straight in. So between the sticks, Lucas Fabianski.
I'm actually going to give him a 7. There were times I was a bit. Thank you, Joan. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought we played really well. I don't blame him for the goal. It's 2-0 Newcastle. Go on. I don't blame him for the goal. Could he have come and tried to claim the corner? Maybe. But I'm going to give him a 7.
A bit of traffic for him to negotiate.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, exactly.
It's probably a mitigating factor. Guys, if you want to pile in with the player ratings, please feel free to do so. Aaron Cresswell, as I say, the team was the same as the game we started with against Bournemouth. How do you think that the slightly elderly, by football terms, Cresswell feared at left back?
Mate, I think he's come back into some real good form. Yes, he still gets caught out for pace, and I'm not gonna. It certainly does, mate. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was a perfect game for him. There were times he was caught out, but I will say that again, his passing, his delivery, it's there's no coincidence that we're scoring from corners and free kicks again with him taking them.
Thank you. Probably not yet, because she's not fully grown yet. So it'd
of a
last about
waste.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he's doing really well. I'm glad to see him back in some sort of form. I'm going to give him a 7 as well, Rob.
Big Nathan.
Again, really, really good. Going to give him an 8. I don't think he looked out of place. I was talking to a couple of Liverpool fans that was watching the game with last night. Called it Rolls Royce defender. He's so good at points. He just makes the difficult things look easy. But yes, I'm very aware that there are times he makes the easy things look really difficult. But I'm going to give him an 8 for yesterday.
And his partner Kurt Zuma.
7. Again, they didn't look as shaky at times as they did against Bournemouth. He won some key battles. He kept, other than obviously the first goal, both boys kept Gakpo really, really quiet. I felt. I don't think he, other than the goal, Gakpo did too much, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't really notice him that much, in fairness.
But then that being said, I didn't notice Salah a lot. I think he was.
Do you know what? I didn't notice him that much either.
I was more concerned with Diaz on the other side when he came on. But again, it was interesting. But yes, 8 for Agard, old Nathan, and a 7 for Big Kurt. 3-0. 3-0 Newcastle.
Wow, yeah, they are in the shit. That could be 2 successive relegations for Sean Dyche. Vladimir Kufau at right back.
Oh, mate, he just looks so good now. He's found that form again. Andy Miles on his fan cam for West Ham Fan TV, he actually said that he doesn't know where we'd be without Sufal at the moment. He's come back, and again, it's no surprise that the change in style of football that we're seeing is seeing the return to form of some of these players that were so good before the change of style of football. Do you know what I mean? So, I thought Sufal was brilliant. He kept Salah quiet, but not Salah. Who was over on the left?
Jota, wasn't it?
Jota kept him quiet. I felt it was only a few times I saw him pipe up. I thought Sufal, I'm going to give him an 8. He's getting to a point, Rob, where he's becoming indispensable to us again. He was before, and he's getting there again.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the guy with the armband, Mr. Declan Rice.
Oh, mate, I cannot wax lyrical. I can't. I'm going to give my man a match. I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was exceptional in that midfield yesterday. Once Thiago came on, I felt that Liverpool started to wrestle a lot more control through the middle. But all the time that Henderson, Curtis Jones, and Fabinho were in there, Declan Rice had that between him and Paqueta, they had it locked down. I'm going to give Declan Rice a 9.
And then obviously alongside him, Big Tom.
Again, I mean, there were a couple of times when he lost possession. I'm going to give him a 6. No, I'm going to give him a 7. I'm not going to give him a 6. I'm going to give him a 7. There was a couple of times some misplaced passes, which were quite frustrating. But again, marking the passing lanes. And this is where, again, change in style of play that has benefited certain players like Sufal, Cresswell. It's benefited Souček as well. Don't get me wrong, it's having a detrimental effect on someone else. but it's having a positive effect. I'm watching Souček. I'm going to give him a 7. Again, his ability to cut passing lanes. He makes himself a nuisance by doing so, and I think people miss that when they watch him play and they go on stats, completed passes. Listen, I got caught up in it before. I did. We were talking about this the other day, Rob. I've started looking at what he does in a different way, and yeah, a 7 for me. No, I would actually. I don't know. I'll have to look at their team. I'm not overly impressed with any of them at the minute, but
No.
Decore, yeah, maybe he's a good little player. I'll give you
Maybe
that.
Dwight McNeil from Everton. Maybe. How about this fella? Got
8.
a cracking goal.
I'm going to give him an 8, and that's only because Declan Rice got a 9. And my man of the match, it's a very, very close second for Paqueta from me.
Yeah.
Brilliant goal. He's getting better and better and better. Again, the change in our tactical style of play has benefited him. And although he wasn't part of the original the original way we used to play, I feel that we're now getting the best out of him because others around him are stepping up their game and it's benefiting him as well.
Fair enough. This fella, now, I don't know about you. Now, I was banging the drum and saying that he, for a lot of this season, has been our most potent weapon offensively. But I have to concede, in my opinion, I think in the last 6 games, his
Everton
final
goal 3-1, 80 minutes.
I think his final ball, either the shot, the cross, the pass, he'll get into the positions, but for whatever reason, it's just not coming off that final sort of delivery. What say you? What's happened?
You remember,
Saeed Benrahma.
remember what I said about certain players where we've gone back, where we've regressed as a team back to what we did before?
Yep.
And the return to form of certain players.
Yep.
This is the guy that's downgraded off of the back. This is the one that's had a detrimental effect on.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good when we played like this before. There's a reason he was being dropped. I think Benrahma in the first half of the season was one of our better players.
Agreed.
It's 4-1. Newcastle have scored again.
Ooh.
Literally, they've gone down the other end and scored. He was
not knocking the effort at all, Gary.
No,
All.
I'm not. But
I thought he was getting good positions. I thought his manipulation,
his end product is
on
poor,
point.
Rob.
It was
Again,
the
it
last
comes.
delivery.
Do you remember what I said to you? What I said to you earlier in certain parts of the season when I turned around and said he had a lack of footballing intelligence.
Yes.
Again, it's that final delivery, the final ball, the final choice of what to do with it. Bournemouth on Sunday, prime example. He could have had a touch on 1 or 2 of the shots that he put straight into the keeper's midriff, but they were very poor shots. He did it again last night. There was so much, and I was about to use the word indecisiveness, as Sharky's put there. There was so much, and it's ridiculous. I just don't get how we can't go back just to appease him. That's what I'm going to say now. You know, we've got whereas we had one player in better form while the team was playing shit, and 3 or 4 others were fucking awful. We can't go back to having 3 or 4 fucking awful players just to placate him on what he does. You know what I mean? I'm going to give him a 5. I actually thought he was very poor last night.
Ooh. How about this fella?
I think there was a point in the first half where he missed Antonio with a cross by about half an inch. It literally just lifted over his head at the back post. Again, another player that's getting better because of the change in what we do. We're seeing more of 18 months ago Jared Bowen, which coincides with the return to the way we played. I'll give him a 7 yesterday.
The focal point, the spear, Mickey Antonio.
He looks fucked. But we've got no one else that can do the job. Maybe we've got Divine Mubama, but I just don't think that's going to be fair to ask him to come in when we're in such a position where it's still quite precarious for us. Agreed. I'm going to give Antonio a 7. I actually thought he played really well. Again, he was a nuisance. He was an absolute pain in the arse. He bullied, he fought, he argued. He was just a bastard, Rob.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that his injuries this season have been managed, you know what I mean? He's not been that hamstring fucking player that we come to know and love over the course of a couple of seasons. He's looking better, and I'm actually enjoying seeing him be the bastard that I know he can be, and he has been. He's been absolutely phenomenal with it, and long may it continue. I'll give him a 7 yesterday.
Got to finish off with this fella, the gaffer.
I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8, and the reason I'm going to give him an 8 is because we were actually undone by a very tight offside call and a penalty call that is dog shit. You can't put that on Moyes for me. You can't put it on Moyes. The fact that Moyes had the bollocks to stand up and say something in his press conference as well, it makes me smile. He's got three games coming up that on paper, 2 of them are going to be throwaways. The game against Palace on Saturday is crucial. I believe a win and we stay up. And I think we stop talking about the possibility of staying up and we need this. We win on Saturday, I think that's it. We can stop this conversation. Joan, go back and watch a video of it. Weren't just the ref I've called corrupt. It's fucking everyone.
That's a good equaliser for us, I think.
That's a very good equaliser. We actually want Southampton to win that. I think the Southampton winning that would be better.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. Because I think they're dead anyway.
But it also drags the likes of Leeds further down into what could be 5 or 6 teams going down if Southampton win that. No, Moyes for me gets an 8. He could have been 9 if we got a point. Could have been 10 if we'd won. Actually, I'm going to now deduct him a point and make it a 7 because I personally think he made the mistake of bringing Cornet on. And as much as I think Cornet needs minutes, I think Pablo should have come on at that point.
Do you know the thing that annoys with Cornet? And I know obviously he's got more pace than Fornals, but he
use it.
Since he's come back from his injury, he either can't time his runs, so he's caught offside, or if he does manage to time his runs and gets through on goal, the shots are absolutely awful.
Yep.
No.
Bollocks. Is what it is. Anthony Gordon's just come on for the last 3 minutes at Goodison Park. I wonder if he got a nice...
I'd imagine he got people
nice
waving
welcome.
at him very warmly, if you know what I mean.
Like I waved at the Gent fans. Yeah.
That's the one. The old Nescafe wave.
Yes, indeed. Or you, Mazda.
Right, well, we've had a little bit of a moan and a whinge up at the officials. We've obviously given scores of the players and the manager. Any final points you want to make before we knock it on the head? Is there anyone else you want to slander or defame?
Well, no, I stand by my comments. I really do. I'm gonna take a look. Like I say, I'm gonna take a look at some numbers. Some right, John.
Well, that's what you do, Rodney. You want to find out somewhere, you just ask.
That way.
When he gets into the office. Oh, yeah, that was it. That was it. I was just about to do that. Ajax.
Brilliant. I love it.
Brilliant episode. The bit where, well, don't worry. I'll get we're not going to sail across. I'll get a captain. And off the train comes Uncle Albert.
Yeah.
Every boat that fella's been on has sunk. Yeah. Well, his luck's got to change at some point. Oh dear.
No, Joan, have a watch. I do lay into the three companies involved: Sky, Premier League, and the PGMOL. I do make myself.
He's doing. Yeah. You look for the bear. Well, where's the bear? It's up there on a glacier mint, isn't it?
Fuck's sake.
It always happens. Someone comes out with a line about fools and horses, and we just die.
And that's it. So it goes, doesn't it? But it is. It's iconic.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pleased to do this. Are we
look after your broom?
Yes, always 42 heads. And
no. The next line.
No, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Listen, there are certain things I've watched over and over again. It's another one. It's 5.
Nice. There's an old saying that's been passed down through generations of road sweepers. Look after your broom.
Your broom will look after you.
No, Rodney. No, Dave. It's just look after your broom. Oh, that I was saying. Oh, that is a tonking, Fritz. That is an absolute tonking.
No,
I think they're in banging trouble.
I've got it here, Rob, on me. Oh shit! I've got it on my Alexa, on my Echo Show. I'll just not show too much of it.
Have you actually ever swept any roads with it? Well, of course, but I've maintained it. This sole broom has had 17 new heads and 14 new handles in its time. How the bloody hell is it the same broom?
I love it. It's. I'll tell you what. That's one of my favourite episodes. That's the Batman episode.
Yes. Yeah. It was the series of 3 where around the time that they found the fob watch that was sitting on the cooker all them years.
Yes. It was the one that they took to Sotheby's or Christie's, wasn't it?
How much did they get for it?
Was it something like 3 point something?
It was from memory. It was 6.3 million.
Oh, was it 6.3 million?
So they got 3 million thereabouts each. So they, and probably knowing Dell, he turned around to Rodney, whatever, and went split it straight down the middle, 60-40.
60-40.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
We'll
do it during the close season as something to do. A little bit of filler, a little bit of a laugh. I'll get a little quiz together. We'll have a bit of fun with that. Can't see
I like Damari Gray. I do like Damari Gray.
Yeah,
I like Damari Gray.
Great point, though. He makes a point. I've got it.
Of course,
in fact, is that it? It's actually right here. Look, hang on. Here it is, as if by magic. There it is.
Oh, Newcastle's 5th has been ruled out.
Has it?
Yeah, I don't think it was offside looking at it, but hey.
I don't think they're coming back from 4-1, let alone. So I don't think that's going to change for it. So I think they're dead and buried as far as today's game is concerned. Do you think they're going to go?
I think it'd be unfortunate them playing in that new stadium next season in the Championship.
It's the season after next.
I still won't be coming up.
No, probably not. Yeah, they're wow. Yeah, they're. I tell you what, I don't know what their fixtures are that they've got left, but oh god, that doesn't look good. That
They're in a
doesn't look
bad
good.
way. They're in a
So,
very, very bad way, Roberts.
anyway, we started talking about fools and horses. So yeah, final points before we end the broadcast.
We got a video tomorrow. Palace,
Yes,
because we're early Saturday, so keep a lookout for that tomorrow evening. I'm not DJing tomorrow night,
okay.
so I have the evening. I have the evening off, so I have the evening off tomorrow, and then I have the day off on Saturday for the game. So and then I'm DJing Saturday night. So yeah, it'll be good. We'll get something down. Yeah, Becca's DJing for me on tomorrow night. So yeah.
Ah, there you go. DJ Bex on the discs, on the wheels of steel.
On the Spotify press play button.
Oh, that's cheating.
That's all you need.
Fair enough. Oh, the next debate. Yeah, because I was
In a minute
planning
when
on
he
doing
hurries up
one.
and gets off camera.
No. I was planning on doing one Tuesday just gone, but of course then I sort of realised, oh, that's the cup final. And obviously, as from Monday, I'm in my new role, so I don't know how things are going to pan out, because especially because some of the things I'm going to have to get involved in are going to involve me going away from home, so staying in hotels and shit like that. So that'll be different. That'll be something I'll have to get used to. Oh, somebody at the door. Is that
Yeah,
Logan coming to say goodnight?
it was saying good night. Yeah, little sod. Should have been in bed
Hello,
about an hour
Logan.
ago.
Shouldn't you be in bed all long since?
No, he's gone. He's gone back out. I've told him
No.
myself.
Fritz is saying he's looking forward to the preview.
I'm looking forward to the preview. Always like doing a preview.
Thank you,
So
Fritz.
I'm gonna do a video. Gonna do a video tomorrow night.
Fritz
Or
and I
tomorrow.
shared a pint the other day.
Did you?
He was at the rugby. He's a Bath follower and I'm a Harlequins follower.
I had that
So
on TV, Rob, in the pub.
Did you?
Yes. Had it
Oh,
on
hang on.
TV in the pub.
Over the balcony. What do you take me for? Some sort of Wally?
It's one with the satellite dish with a plane.
No, not that one. That was to Hull and
That's
back.
one of my favourites.
Oh, that was Bronco. That was Boyce's brother-in-law, Marlene's brother.
Marlene.
You know
Get
he's
that dog
had
out of my bloody aquarium.
Not a cowboy. I've got spur marks on my grandfather clock. Right, we probably should knock it on the head there, shouldn't we?
What I was going to say is,
you had to get that in, didn't you, Fritz?
Of course
You
did.
had to get that in. Yes, Bath won. I think that what cost Quins was a couple of cheap yellow cards, where at the end of the first half, Quins were down to 13. So that's, yeah, I think that cost them. They lost the game by 10 points in the end, 35-45. So best team won on the day, but we'll get you next time, Fritz. We'll get you next time. I have to go to the return game next season at the Rec. That'd be good. Get some cider. We shared a Guinness at Twickenham at HQ.
Oh God no, God no.
Ah, bonjour. The one I'll tell you what. Go on. Let's just do a little bit. The one where they go to Margate, the Jolly Boys outing. Do you remember the bit where they're playing Trivial Pursuit right at the beginning, and Del Boy's sort of like he's stumped on a question. That's Stephen, the yuppie, the Cassandra's boss. Oh, it's so simple. What was it? What's a baby swan called? And he's sort of like they're rattling around the pen, this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. And he's like, 3 letters, and they're dropping all sorts of clues and whatever. And he goes, "That's it. It's a bic." Unbelievable. Monge 2.
Monge 2, Rodney. Monge 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. We probably should knock it on the head there, people. We're just sort of chatting about fools and horses. We could be here all night. Anyway, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And make sure you hit that bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much indeed for your support. Please also don't forget to extend your support to the Iron Supporting Food Bank charity. And we will see you again tomorrow. Come on, you Irons. Stay safe. You know it makes sense. Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Say hello to my little friend.